Hi guys, Miss Delano here. Happy Earth Day. Since it is Earth Day celebration, I thought I would take you to my favorite garden in the whole world. It belongs to my awesome mother. We're gonna call her Miss Dee Dee. She's coming over right now, and she's gonna take us through some really cool stuff in her garden. So this is Miss Dee Dee. So first,
hi everyone.
First we have one of her compost piles. Can you tell us a little bit about this compost pile and what goes into it?
A compost pile is when you take old things that used to be living but that are dead now, like leaves and grass and vegetable scraps and things like that, and you put them together in a pile. They start breaking down and turning back into beautiful soil and earth. And then once it breaks down and turns into soil again, then you can use it in flower beds and gardens and anywhere you want to plant something. And it's very, very good and rich and has great nutrients in it to make the plants grow strong.
Awesome. So that's compost pile 1.
Want to look at it?
Sure, you can come in and look at it a little bit closer.
It's just a pile of leaves, and underneath the leaves there's grass and vegetable scraps. It doesn't look like too much right now, but after a long time, if you dig in there, it looks just like dirt underneath.
Does it have bugs in it?
It has a lot of good bugs, and worms are really great.
So next, what I want to show you guys are her apple trees. She has some apple trees. Now these trees don't have apples on them yet, right?
That's right. They're very, very young trees, so they haven't really started growing apples yet. And you see there's it just looks like a lot of twigs and sticks. It's because these apple trees have been asleep all winter. A lot of plants just, trees lose their leaves and then they sleep for the winter. And when the warm weather comes and the sun comes out and springtime is here, then they start putting on new leaves. And this apple tree does not have any flower blooms yet because this one makes apples a little later in the year. But our other apple tree over here, we have 2 apple trees, and this one is a different kind of apple. That one's called gala apples, and you find those a lot in the store. They're very good. You probably eat them all the time. This is called Goldina apples, and it's actually a mix between a Golden Delicious and a gala apple. And this one produces earlier in the year, so everywhere you see these blooms, that means this tree is saying, I want to put an apple right here. And after the blooms go away, the apples start growing. But these apples won't be ready until August.
Wow.
That's a long time.
So can you only have one apple tree to make an apple?
No, apple trees need more than one apple because in order for them to produce, these blooms need pollen from that tree. And the bees and the ladybugs and good bugs, they're called beneficial bugs. They carry pollen, and then they put some of that pollen with this pollen, and that makes the apples start to grow.
Wow. That is so cool.
It's called pollination.
There you go. Now you know. So our next little part of the garden that we have is this really cool bird feeder. I know a lot of you guys have been working on bird feeders at home, making your own, and we're actually going to do that later today. But Miss Dee Dee already had this one, and I wanted her to talk a little bit about what kind of birds she sees back here and how it helps everything in this area grow. Do they bring birds that eat the bad bugs and stuff like that?
Well, birds do eat bad bugs. Everything works in a nice balance, generally speaking, because God made it that way. So there are some bugs that if you're trying to grow things, they might be kind of bad for what you're growing. But the good thing is that they're really good supper and lunch for the birds. So when you try to grow things and the bad bugs come, the birds look at it and go, yummy, I like those kind of bugs. So in order to attract birds to be around, we put out the bird feeder. Now this bird feeder has, I just have some sunflower seeds. I bet you kids like sunflower seeds. Well, there's a lot of birds that like sunflower seeds too. And two of them in particular that really like this feeder are doves, little gray doves. They really eat a lot of bird seed. And little red cardinals. They really like sunflower seeds too. But we have mockingbirds and blue jays and scissortails and so many birds I don't even know all their names.
Easy as that, huh?
Just as easy as that. We'll put the lid back down. I'm going to set it down for a minute. I hear the birds saying, yummy, yummy.
They're ready to eat.
Yummy in my tummy.
They know Miss Dee Dee has some good snacks for them.
All right, here you are, birds. Come in and get it.
So what you can see is the sunflower seeds come out through little holes at the bottom and sit in this little container. And
The
it just
birds
kind of
fly along and sit on the
right
edge.
here and eat it all up.
And then they fly away.
And then they come back later for more because they really enjoy it. Okay, next, I know I can hear the bird.
Maybe we can check back over if we see a bird and take a picture.
I would love
Where
that.
are we going next?
We're going to the blackberries next.
Blackberries, yum yum.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but I love any kind of berry. And I'm so excited that Miss Dee Dee is growing blackberries.
Well, these blackberry plants are brand new plants. We just put them in this year. So, this one over here is kind of slow. It's growing really fast, but there's not really any blackberries on it yet. But these two plants started putting on blackberries right away. Now, do you think blackberries, when they start growing, do you think they look black or dark blue or red? Wrong, wrong, wrong.
What color are they?
When they start growing, they're green.
Oh my goodness.
They're very, very green. Here's a pretty one right here. But as long as they're green, you know they're not ripe and they're not ready to pick. But soon they'll grow bigger and bigger, and hopefully these blackberries will get to be about the size of my thumb. And when they get that big, they'll turn a nice purpley black color. You can come out and pick them. But you have to be careful because a lot of blackberry plants have big, ugly thorns on them. Ouch!
So be
So
very
you have to be very careful around blackberries.
Awesome. Are you gonna make me some blackberry cobbler when they come through?
Yes!
So what is that? That looks like decoration, but I feel like that's not.
Well, it's not really decoration, and this really isn't decoration, and this is not decoration either.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's just a plastic snake. But we were talking about birds earlier, and birds really like blackberries. And I want the blackberries, but I don't want the birds to have them. So I put out a snake. It's just a play snake. But when birds are flying, they might go, blackberries. Ooh, I don't like snakes. So they think it's a real snake, and maybe they won't come close. And this is just called irritate. Today it's not blowing too much because the wind is not blowing, but it's very reflective and sparkly. And so when it blows in the wind, it makes little flashes of light, and it kind of, well, it just startles the birds so they go away. It's just enough to make them think, oh, people, and they fly away. So they're gonna leave my blackberries alone, I hope.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
So when will the blackberries be ready? How long will that be?
You know, since this is my first year to grow blackberries, I'm not sure, but I think that they probably will be ready to start picking in June and July.
We might have to do an update with Miss Dee Dee to see when they're done. Okay, next we're heading to the final grand event. This whole thing back here behind me is her big, big garden, okay? She has all kinds of stuff in here, and she's gonna take us through it.
What kind of garden is that?
What kind of garden? It's a vegetable garden.
I'm growing vegetables, but it's called a straw bale garden. It's not actually planted in the ground at all. Have you seen bales of hay? Okay, this is very similar to hay, but it's straw. It's a little bit different. And so I bring straw bales in and I line them up and I water them and put fertilizer on them so they start doing, what did we have over there? Compost piles. So the straw bales begin doing exactly what the compost piles do. They start breaking down and turning into soil. And it's very, very fertile, means it's good for plants. They grow, they like that kind of environment. And so they start growing very, very healthy. And we'll look at it closer when we get over here, okay?
Awesome. So first up, we have your most prized possession out of this whole entire garden, right?
This is a new project for me. I've never grown potatoes before, but I love potatoes. I love French fries. I love mashed potatoes. I love baked potatoes.
Tater tots.
Love tater tots. How many of you kids like potatoes? I bet you do, because potatoes and macaroni, that's like wonderful kid food. So, these are potato plants. I call these potato towers because when I plant the potatoes, I plant them very, very low down in the bottom. And as they start growing up, then I put more dirt. And you see straw here. I put more dirt and more straw, and the plants keep coming up higher. And I put more dirt and more straw till I have all the dirt and straw to the top. And the plants keep growing, but what happens down there inside on the roots, potatoes are actually a part of the root. So the roots come out, and then at certain points in the roots, it makes what's called tubers. Tubers are potatoes. Carrots are tubers. Well, actually, they're root plants. I don't really know if they're tubers or not. I'll have to look that up. But they're root plants. All of these are root plants. And I have red Lesotho potatoes. I have Kennebec potatoes. Those are red skin. These are brown skin. And then I have Yukon Gold, which have brown skin, but also the inside is very, very golden and yellow. And in that potato tower on the end, I have all three grow, and that's why there's potatoes coming out everywhere, because there's three kinds of potatoes in that one.
Awesome.
Alrighty, come on over here and I'll show you what's in the garden.
This is so cool, you guys. This garden is huge.
So if you look right here, these are the straw bales I was talking about. It's just a bale of straw. We set it on the ground. And then I put some little fencing around it to kind of hold it together, because once it composts and starts turning into dirt, it wants to just sort of settle down and fall apart. But I don't want all that to wash away when I water, so I put a little border on it. These, all right here, are contender green beans. Contender is just the kind of green beans they are. It's a green bean that grows really, really well. And these are bush beans. So there's two kinds of bean plants. There's bush beans and string, but I forget, they grow on a vine and they kind of crawl up. But I've been told that bush beans do better in straw bales. So I have contender bush beans, which means they're gonna grow up, but they're gonna kind of bunch out. And they're going to get bigger, kind of like the potato plants close by. And they're going to get big and bushy. I've already got some blooms, and anytime you have blooms on vegetable garden plants, ooh, can you see here? This is more than a bloom. This is a little bitty baby green bean.
It's so tiny.
2 of them. They're my first green beans, and y'all got to see them. Soon they'll be big enough to pick and eat.
Ooh, yummy.
These are green bean plants. Right here, I have what's called Ichabod eggplant. Not everybody, not all kids like eggplants.
Not all adults do either.
Not all adults do either. It's a purple plant that produces a fruit that looks like that right there. That's called an eggplant. Ichabod eggplants grow long and skinny. And I have another kind of eggplant in my garden as well. But right here beside the eggplant, I have catnip. Now, catnip is an herb. And particularly the reason why I put it by the eggplant is because there's some bad bugs that really like eggplant and they eat on the leaves. But they don't like catnip. So if you plant catnip close to eggplant, and not only catnip, but right here I have sweet basil. Basil is an herb that's in spaghetti and pizza.
Yummy.
That's really good. But if you plant these close to the eggplant, they keep the bad bugs away.
Awesome.
This is called a Sweet 100. It's cherry tomatoes.
Ooh.
Those little kind of tomatoes that are so fun to eat in salad. That's what this plant will make. And so far, I haven't seen any tomatoes yet, but I am getting a lot of little yellow blooms. And soon, everywhere you see little blooms, there soon will be little red tomatoes. They start green, but when they're ready to pick, they're nice, pretty red.
Yummy.
This is called cilantro right here. And cilantro is used in a whole lot of good Mexican food. Yummy, we love cilantro. It's good in salsa. It's good on fish tacos. What else do we use cilantro in?
Everything.
Everything. So
We eat cilantro all the time.
this is a banana pepper. So it's, even though we say pepper, sometimes we think hot. But not all peppers are hot. This is a sweet banana pepper. And it's very good, chopped up in a lot of things. Yummy. Okay, this is a new flower I just planted. And I don't even know if I can say the name of it. It's a calibrachoa. It's a calibrachoa. I just thought it was pretty. Don't you think it's pretty?
It's pretty.
All right, we'll just put the name tag right back there. Now this plant, this plant, this plant, and this plant is zucchini squash. Who likes squash? Not everybody does, but sometimes your taste changes, and even things you don't like when you're a little kid, sometimes you get to liking it better when you grow up. So those are zucchini squash. These are bell peppers. These 3 bell peppers are green. These 2 bell peppers are going to grow red bell peppers. And along with these, I planted some marigolds. These are little flowers. You know, a lot of flowers smell really, really nice, but marigolds are really kind of stinky. And that's one reason why they're good for a vegetable garden, is because even though they're pretty and they attract good bugs, because they stink, they kind of make, they repel the bad bugs that would want to come eat stuff. They get over close to the marigolds and they go, pew, we don't like it over here, so they don't eat the good vegetables.
So instead of having to use what's called a repellent to get all the bad bugs away,
Or pesticide,
which is chemical,
they're bad for the environment.
yep, you can use something that's more natural, like a marigold. Awesome.
Now all of these right here are black-eyed peas, sometimes called cow peas. These are California black-eyed peas. Have you ever seen the little, it's kind of a bean. It really is a bean. It's not even a pea, but it's called a pea. And they're little beans that have like a little black dot right in the middle. Looks like they have a black eye. That's why they're called black-eyed peas.
And those are good luck to eat at New Year's, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's what
Alrighty.
Miss Dee Dee always told me, is eat some black-eyed peas at New Year's.
This is a new flower plant I put in here just because I wanted something very pretty in the garden. And this is called a petunia. Isn't that pretty? There's actually 3 different petunia plants there, so they're going to come out three different colors, kind of purple, dark pink, and a red and white. Okay, this is a classic Roma tomato. Roma tomatoes grow about that big and they're kind of oval shaped. Have you learned your shapes? Oval is like a long sort of circle, not just a real round one like a plain tomato, an oval. Okay, that's a classic Roma. This is the other kind of eggplant that I was telling you about. Remember we had Ichabod eggplants? This one is just a classic eggplant, and instead of growing long and skinny, this one grows kind of oval also. Almost shaped like a pear, but a big, dark purple pear. Look, bad bugs have been at work on this plant. They've been eating the leaves. So I planted some basil and some catnip close to this, and I hope that drives all those bad bugs away. Fingers crossed. This right here, kids,
Come closer. This one's really
is a jalapeno pepper.
Ooh.
These are hot peppers. Not everybody likes hot jalapenos, but would you look here?
You can see the peppers.
I have some awesome jalapenos growing on this one already. Everywhere you look, there's
Yep.
peppers growing. And everywhere there's been blooms, I got more that are coming on.
Yay!
All
That's
right.
my favorite because you can really see it there.
2 more bell peppers. This one's green. This one's gonna be a yellow bell pepper. Right here, these 3 plants are called spaghetti squash. So it's a squash that grows about this big, but when you cook it and then take the squash out, it comes out in strings that looks just like spaghetti. It's amazing, and you can eat it instead of spaghetti because vegetables are good for you. Sometimes it's good to eat a bit more vegetables and leave off less pastas. So you could always switch it out. This is a different tomato plant. This one is called a celebrity tomato. So this is going to be the kind of tomato that grows sort of big and round, and you slice it and it fits really good right on a hamburger.
Ooh.
Yum!
Yummy.
All right, now these are Kentucky Wonders green beans. It's just another kind of green bean. But remember our first baby green beans over there? These have not put on any blooms yet, but they're coming. I'm looking close and I'm seeing them. They're coming. All these green beans will start coming and producing, and probably in about 2 or 3 weeks, I'm gonna start picking green beans, maybe even sooner.
Yeah.
These 2 are some more jalapeno plants. They're younger than that one. It's got all the peppers on it, so they haven't started making peppers yet. That one is a hot jalapeno. These are called mild jalapenos. I hope they're really more mild because I don't want them all to be hot. This is some more cilantro, which is really good in Mexican food. And this is just a pretty flower. You know what? It doesn't even have a name tag in it. I saw it at the store and just thought that would look so pretty in my garden. I don't even know what kind it is, but it sure is pretty. Don't you think it's pretty?
Oh yeah.
These are yellow straight neck squash plants. So these are going to have yellow squash. I love squash. Yummy. But they haven't started making any blooms yet because it's real early in the season. Won't be long. And once they start making squash, man, they make a lot. Now these, how many of you kids like pickles? These are cucumbers. These are pickle cucumbers. So they're going to grow little cucumbers, which will make great pickles. Last year I grew some of these and I made a lot of pickles.
Yep.
So I have pickling cucumbers all right here. Now right here, how many of you kids like cantaloupe? Yum!
yes.
Sweet cantaloupe in the hot summer when it's cool and cold right out of the refrigerator. Yummy. Cantaloupes are also sometimes called muskmelons, so that's what these plants are. This is another one of those pretty, but Stinky marigolds. I hope that keeps the bugs away, the bad bugs. And this one right here is a tomato plant. This one is called a Juliet Grape Roma. This one's my favorite tomato plant. Remember how I told you the Romas make oval shaped ones? Well, these make little oval shaped tomatoes that are perfect in a salad. They're like, you eat the whole thing in 1 or 2 bites. Yum! If you look really close, right down here, I already have some green ones growing, but they're not ready. They won't get any bigger than this. This is just the size they'll be. You see how they're an oval shape? And when they start turning red, uh-oh, one fell off. Well, that's okay. The nice thing about tomatoes is that even if you pick a green tomato, you can put it in the windowsill and the sunlight will help it continue to turn red. And if you just give it some time, it'll still turn into a yummy red tomato. You can put it in your salad, eat it all up.
Miss Dee Dee has one more thing that she wants to show us. It's not as big as the huge big garden, but this is really, really cool. What is this that we have going on?
Well, this is just a little shelf, okay, but it has a plastic covering that can zip up and close up. And this makes a very, very nice environment to start little seeds, just seeds, growing in some of these little pots with dirt. Sometimes if you just take a little seed early in the season when it's not quite warm spring and it's not quite really, really cold winter, but then some days it gets really cold, those seeds, if you try to plant them too early, the really cold will kill them and they won't grow a plant. So you can take those little tiny seeds of whatever you want to grow and put them in little dirt pots in an environment like this. And then whenever you have cold weather, you just zip it up so that that freezing cold weather doesn't get to those tender little plants, and they stay healthy and they start growing bigger and bigger and stronger, so that whenever they get strong enough and they have enough roots down in the bottom like these here, you can go out to your garden and you can take one of these plants and you can dump it right out in your hand like that, and then you can plant this whole pile of dirt right into a hole, and it never interrupts the plant. The plant just keeps growing and getting bigger and stronger. These are called seedlings. You put little seeds in the dirt, and once you have a plant, it's called a seedling, and it gets stronger and stronger. And when there's no more risk of freezing cold weather, you put it in the garden, and it just keeps growing like crazy.
Cool. So they're kind of like almost in plant daycare. Not quite old enough to go to school in the garden.
This is
kind of like a plant daycare.
kindergarten.
Yeah.
Getting bigger, stronger, and smarter every day.
There you go. Awesome. Well, you guys, that was Miss Dee Dee's garden in her backyard. It's super awesome, and I hope you guys really enjoyed it as much as I did. Happy Earth Day to everybody. Go out and celebrate. Show me your plants. Show me the things that you have made. Show me your bird feeders. I want to see all of it, you guys.
Bugs, caterpillars, bees.
Everything that's in nature. Show me some ways that you guys can celebrate Earth Day. We'll see you later, guys. Bye.
Bye.